Hi guys, it's me, Andrew Markowitz. Today's video is going to be a little bit different from what I have been doing, and this is definitely going to be a series that I'm going to do. And when I'm not making other videos, I'm definitely just going to be doing this. And honestly, when I can't think of an idea of what to do, this is what I'm going to do. So, today's video is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to display here the Bible that I have access to right now, which is an ESV Study Bible, which is an English Standard Version Study Bible. That's what I have. That's what I use. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through the Bible on that one, and then I'm going to bring up other versions on this side of the screen. Hopefully you can see my mouse. There you can see my mouse. I'm going to bring up other ones on this side of the screen. I'm going to read that. We're going to compare them, look at things like definitions, things like that, and see what things are different, if at all. And are they actually saying something different? Are they saying the same thing? What are they saying? What is this verse really saying? Is what I'm trying to get at. Basically, just kind of a Bible verse, Bible study breakdown is what this is going to be. So, let's start with the best one that I can think of, which is Genesis 1:1. So, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And then let's just read right here. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void. Darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. So, a couple of things that I want to note here is one says was on, one says was over. Darkness was on, darkness was over. This verse is kind of, well, honestly, I think, really, let's actually wind it back all the way to the first one. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. This starting point of creation, I've had a few argumentations a couple of times in my lifetime over the Big Bang Theory disproves God, which is one of the funniest things ever, because actually it's Christians for the longest time, especially if you've started reading any theologian or anything like that, you will quickly come to realize, no, the Big Bang Theory proves God, because we request that there is a start to existence, that there is an eternal cause, because that's what logic points to. So that's the first thing you notice, is that there's an eternal cause. Both of them are identical right here. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. What I think is interesting about that is that the scientific creation story that's taught in the modern day, some people might say, well, that points to a disagreement here. Well, the sun is a part of the heavens, and so is the earth. And as I'm trying, and I've just started this week to learn Hebrew, and it's a slow process, let me tell you. But from what I have been told of Hebrew and learning of it, the verse is translated in the most literal possible way to English, means to create from chaos structure. This would literally translate from Hebrew, in the beginning, God created structure from chaos. And it's translated to the heavens and the earth because it's basically to say God created heaven and the earth. the heavens, meaning he created literal heaven and he created the earth. So he created the universe and he created heaven and he created all of those things. That's what that's talking about, and that's what that's discussing. And then we get into 2. The earth was out form and void, and darkness was over the form of the deep. Darkness was on the face of the deep. This means that the earth didn't have any real structure to it. Like, kind of interesting, because if you paid attention at all in your science classes, that is what we're taught. The earth was just a formless meatball for a while while it was forming around the sun. Am I right? Like, that's what was happening. It was clumping up and gathering and growing, and then eventually it did grow to have waters and all of these things over it, and it slowly started to develop something which we will get into later. But the key aspect that I actually want to get into is right here. The Spirit of God was hovering over the waters, and then immediately God said, this is making note of 2 distinct figures, because this is called the Spirit of God and this is called God. That's 2 distinct persons. You will see this time and time and time again in the Bible. This is 100% 2 distinct persons, and honestly, you're gonna see 3 distinct persons continuously throughout the Bible as you read it. This is why, and this is an objection that you hear all the time and time again from other religions. There is no Trinitarianism in the Bible. Well, for one thing, getting into just the baseline arguments of God and how God works and those kind of things is there can only be one prime mover. There cannot be multiple gods, because that would therefore imply that he could not be all powerful, and that is something that we can approve from the text and pull from the text of this. It is never outright stated in the Bible that God is all powerful. God is stated to be all loving, all good. God is even stated to be all knowing, but he's never fully stated to be all powerful. That is implied by the fact that in this first verse it's stated, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. That alone would make him the ultimate creator and the ultimate cause of all things. Therefore he would be the beginning of all things. So he would be the ultimate thing of all things. The as Aristotle puts it in his works, the unmoved mover is what he would put it as. This is important because the unmoved mover is proven time and time again in Aristotle's works, and if you read anybody at all, you will come to find there can only be one unmoved mover to have a proper cause and effect ratio. Otherwise, it's just illogical and doesn't make sense. Which therefore means that God's nature has to be something unique and distinct, and that on top of his nature having to be unique and distinct, God has to be unique and distinct. This is how we end up coming to Trinitarianism, and you can literally come to Trinitarianism just right here in Genesis 1:1, where in the fact that you have God and then this other name for God. This is a completely different name for God. The Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. God. This is 2 different persons. 2 different persons right here. And there will be times later in the Bible where you won't just see 2, you will see 3. But you won't see more than 3. You will see 3 distinct persons. This is how we come to Trinitarianism, wherein there is one being. A being would be what you are. It would be the distinct thing, but 3 persons, who you are, and that kind of thing. God is 3 persons, 1 being. And as we will get into later, I will then go into image bearer, image, all of those kind of things. but that's a little bit later. I wanted to get at this part first because, as you can see, just digging 3 verses in, not even 3 verses in, 2 verses in, we already get into a pretty deep discussion here on God and what He is and defining Him, which is why these videos are going to be pretty long for my content. But I kind of wanted to just get into that and kind of just show that. And we can see in the NKJV there is, I'll pull up the faithful version, again highlighted it as a faithful God. I'll pull up the American Standard Version, again highlighted as God, Spirit of God. I will pull up the Common English Bible. God's Wind is what that one's highlighted as. Let's see here. Contemporary English Version. Spirit of God again. Christian Standard Bible. Spirit of God again. We see it version after version after version after version after version. We see it even in the Jewish Bible, the Spirit of God. Let's go to this one, the Free Bible version, and the Spirit of God again. So we see these two distinct persons, because in the next verse it says, God, let there be light, and there was light. So, like, this could literally be understood as right here, God made the supernovas go off. God made all of those gas clouds, which gas clouds are bright on their own, black holes, all of those kind of things forming and creating, which black holes actually emit light because of what they suck in and the energy that they generate, and those kind of things. So it's just really interesting to me how deep you can go and just dig in on these things. And as I said, we're going to go deeper and deeper here, and we're going to get into this next one tomorrow, because this is a fun one for me that I love to dig into as well. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Sorry it was a little bit rambly. I hope to be better about that in the future. Like, sub, comment, subscribe, share it around. Thank you. Have a good night.